Welcome back. So it's another game seven, and there are no moral victories in the playoffs. So I can stand here right now and tell you, hey, Toronto played well. They came back from 3-1 down. They forced overtime. They could have won this game. I would argue they probably should have, but I'm wearing my Jeremy Swayman jersey because what a game saver he is. He has turned out to be fantastic. And I cannot help but feel kind of bad for Toronto because I thought they had a good series, and I really thought they were going to win this at one point tonight, and then the game turned. And honestly, I don't know how you fix it if you're Toronto because they're not that far off. And again, if you're a Leafs fan, you've heard that from me before because this team goes to Game Seven. They have fight. Teams that don't have fight don't force game sevens in series. The problem is it's not getting them over the hump. So this summer, there's questions that are going to be asked. Over the next couple of days here, I'll probably do a video on Toronto and just as sort of a postmortem. I was pretty relaxed watching this game until overtime for a very simple reason. As a fan, I would love to see Boston go on. I don't know that Boston matches up well with Florida. I do think Florida very likely beats Boston. I admit that full out, straight on, yes. And I felt like maybe Toronto might stand a better chance against Florida. But either way, I also looked at it from a perspective of, I have this channel. It's got, a lot of subscribers. And I know that when Toronto's out, the view counts do drop. So there's that business side where I'm like, you know what? If Boston's out and if the reward for them moving on to the next round is to play against a team that I don't know that they can beat, and I mean, hey, I will be very happy if they beat Florida. When I do the Florida Boston preview tomorrow, I will be wearing a Boston jersey because I kind of sort of have to. But yeah, this is a tough one. This is an absolute tough one. And just again, for me as the hockey guy, I don't hate Toronto. I did when the channel started out. Absolutely, no, I was tired of Toronto this and Toronto that. But over the last 7 years, my opinions definitely changed on which teams I may or may not like. And I like Toronto. I want to see them succeed because I think there's a good team there. This summer is going to be very interesting because something has to change. I think Marner's probably the one that goes. If they move somebody from the core four, I think Marner's the one that it would have probably the most market value. And I don't know if you necessarily can replace his production, but if they pick up a really good defenseman, I think that would help. So if they could work something out there, I think they have enough offense in their lineup to make up for it if they move Marner. But that's just a guess on my behalf. So I wanted to talk about that first before we get into the game because most people watching these videos, of course, have watched the game. And so I just wanted to give my thoughts beforehand on the Leafs and what I think was an almost successful season. If they had won this game tonight, I think you could qualify the season as a mild success. Although if they'd lost to Florida in 5 games or 6 games in the next round, there would have been a lot of questions and a lot of head scratching. So it's Matthews that's in the lineup tonight. I thought Matthews was a net positive for Toronto. I know there will be those who come in and, Matthews is the reason they lost. Nope. The other thing was it was Samsonov versus Swayman. Samsonov played really, really well. So yes, Wall wasn't playing. He wasn't available due to injury. I'm sure he feels awful right now because he wasn't able to play. But if he's not able to play, he's just not. So Samsonov goes in, and again, I thought he had his best performance of these playoffs. They played Hell's Bells before the game, at least on the Sportsnet feed that I'm watching, right? And I think that AC/DC song absolutely worked as a prelude for tonight's game because it definitely felt like whoever lost this game, there was going to be a lot of questions asked about that franchise. Both of these teams. If Boston lost again, that would have been, 3 straight years they lose in the first round? For Toronto, of course, they got out of the first round last year, but the way that the community feels about it, and I mean like the online community and just hockey fans and hockey media in general, it doesn't feel like they won that series last year over Tampa. So Bergeron's the honorary banner captain. I thought that was a nice touch. It would have been a nicer touch if he was playing in the game. Audio Slave, and they always play Audio Slave's song at the start of the Boston games, Save Yourself, which is it's Whole Lotta Love. The first time I heard it, I'm like, that's Whole Lotta Love. Honestly, they should just use a Zeppelin song. And the whole lot of love dance remix crap that I've been hearing lately, that's an abomination. If you're going to remix Led Zeppelin, you shouldn't be touching music. But anyways, yeah, I've never been an Audio Slave fan. I completely agree with the lead singer of Faith No More on that. I remember watching a video where he hears them and he's like, "What is that crap? That's It sounds like Zeppelin. What is that? Why?" It's like a cover band. Anyways, getting back to the game. So, early Bruins press are kept to the outside. The Leafs then press. The Bruins block. Puck nearly goes in. The Leafs net off Brazeau, so it's thrown at the net, almost goes in off him. Benoit has a sharp angle shot. That's kicked aside. The Leafs press. They're again kept to the outside. Tavares has a wraparound chance. That's blocked. There's a pad save on a nice spinning shot by Jake DeBrusk, who had his opportunities tonight. The shots are 2 apiece 5 minutes into the period. Things are pushy on a hold by Swayman. Then there was an issue with the door at the Bruins bench, so that caused a slight delay to the game. After that, where am I? I'm right there. Bruins press at 7 minutes. Lowry has a shot that's blocked. DeBrusk to Marchand is blocked. It's one of those nights where I'm kind of like worked up and kind of excited, and at the same time trying to do a video for all you fine people on the internet. So, yeah, DeBrusk to Marchand's blocked. Things are pushy on hold by Samsonov. The Leafs press at 9.5 minutes. Are they going to go back to calling him Samsonov? Because that's the right way to saying it, not Samsonov. And I swear, if I hear Witherspoon one more time. McCabe fires one wide as the Leafs press. DeBrusk's denied on a rebound. Samsonov, good thus far in the game. I was almost nervous about writing that down because sometimes I'll compliment a goaltender and then they'll allow a goal right after. Good forechecking by the Leafs leads to a Benoit chance that's held. McAvoy is a screenshot that's held. There's some pushing. Domi to Bertuzzi gets picked off. The teams exchange rush chances. McAvoy has a shot that's blocked as the Bruins are pushing for the lead. And I thought it was the best first period for the Bruins in 3 games and admitted the bar's very low. More pushing on whistles. And I was worried that the referee eventually is just going to pull one out of those situations where, they're cross-checking and they're pushing and all that. At no point in this game did they just grab one and take him out. So that's the difference between the regular season and the postseason. Postseason, they just let them get it out of their system. Boston presses with 4.5 minutes left. McAvoy fans on one. Nylander had a rush chance that's held. JVR has a slot shot that's held. Nylander has a rush chance that's defended. The Leafs press with 2 minutes left. Bertuzzi to Yarncroke. There's a near miss there. The Leafs press in the final minute. McCabe has a net feed that's picked off. Tavares has a slot shot that deflects out. So it's 0-0 after the first because that's now the rule in hockey. Now in the playoffs, you don't get a goal before the third period. We'll see if that changes in round 2 tomorrow. But yeah, lately it's just been no goal scoring in the first couple periods. Second period, an early Pasternak rush chance that gets held. The Bruins press are kept to the outside. The Bruins end up drawing a power play. The Leafs clear. The Bruins really struggle to set up there. Swayman then turns it over, but Boston recovers to bail him out, so that was kind of nerve-wracking. Brazeau with a near miss. They cycle. Late clear. Power play's killed off. One shot on net for Boston on one of what was only 2 power plays for them. The power play was not an issue in this game tonight. Bruins press after. Carlo fires one wide. There's a power play then for the Leafs. They cycle, I should say. And then there's a shorthanded Marchand rush chance that's fired wide. Yarncroke then has a 4-on-2 chance that's held. There's some pushing after that. There's another clear, a late cycle. Power play's killed off. The Leafs press after their power play comes to an end. In fact, the shots are 6-2 for Toronto at 8 minutes. Very good road period by Toronto in that second period. McAvoy has a hit on Matthews that draws cheers. The Leafs press at 9.5 minutes. Then the Bruins draw a power play. There's an early cycle. It's cleared. There's a net feed to Zaka. Near miss there. Pasternak has a shot that's held. The Leafs clear again. Then there was a shorthanded break by Connor Dewar. That's saved. There's a late cycle. That power play's killed off. Nyes falls on a net drive. Initially, I'd put tripped, but when you looked at it from another angle, he loses an edge and falls over. So it was right for there not to be a call on that play. Nylander then can't bury one in close as the Leafs press. Lowry fires one wide as the Bruins get some pressure. Brazeau has a net drive that's blocked. There's a net feed to Camp. Near miss there. The Leafs press with 4.5 minutes left. The Bruins get pinned down on a failed clear. The fans are getting kind of restless there. Then there's a glove save on Lowry and a near miss by Geekie right after that. McAvoy has a shot that deflects out. Pasternak has a net drive that's saved. Teams trade turnovers. It's 0-0 after 2. Third period, Nyes has a shot that's kicked aside. Marchand to Coyle. That gets picked off. Edmondson has a shot that's blocked as the Leafs get some pressure. Riley to Gregor, there's a near miss there. Zacha to Pastrnak, that gets blocked. The shots on net are 2-0 for the Leafs at 3 minutes. So Toronto, understanding the desperation of the situation, I thought they were playing well. McAvoy has a net drive that's saved. Matthews has a wrister that's held. The teams trade turnover chances. Pastrnak has a rush chance that's held. The Bruins press at 7 minutes. Dewar grabs a puck from the front of the Leafs net, and I don't mean like physically with his hand. I just mean there was a dangerous puck at the Leafs net, and Dewar gets it out of there. I thought Connor Dewar played well tonight for Toronto. DeBrusk has a rush chance that's kicked aside. Matthews has a shot that's blocked, and then on a turnover, Nylander buries one with Swayman down. Matthews and Bertuzzi with the assists at 9:01, and that's about the only way that you could score on Swayman in this series was he has to be down first. Now, right before that Nylander goal, there's a puck that's caught in the crowd by a Toronto fan wearing a Nylander jersey, and the fans all booing at him, and somebody threw a Boston towel at him. And he seemed pretty happy then, especially after Nylander then scored during the next set of plays. But then Edmondson nearly adds one on a rush, so it looks like this could get ugly in favor of Toronto. However, at 10:22, Lindholm buries one past the screen from the left circle. The assist to Van Riemsdyk and Brazo at 10:22. Initially, I thought it was a 50-50 goal, and maybe Samsonov should have that, but I was like, nah, there's a screen there. And it's the first goal he's allowed all game, so I can't say anything about the goalie. DeBrusk misses one wide on a rush. The shots are 9-6 for Boston with 7.5 minutes left. Tavares has a rush chance that's held. Geekie has a net feed that's picked off. Pastrnak has a chance that's picked off. Brazo has a wraparound chance that's saved. Nye's forecheck. Matthew Nye's had himself a series. I think there's a really good future there. He sets up a press with a good forecheck. Pastrnak then fires one high from the slot. It's punchy at the horn on a hold by Swayman. And what a hold it was to basically, I was in the back of my mind thinking, I think the Leafs are going to score in the closing seconds. They didn't. And we're going to overtime. So, of course, Game 7 overtime. Nylander to Tavares near miss. Nyes has a net drive chance that's saved. JVR has a screenshot that's held. So the Leafs getting those opportunities. Then things are pushy on a hold by Swayman. There's a near miss for Geekie. The puck's cleared out. And then on a great bank pass by Hampus Lindholm. Seriously. And I see that, and I think that's their rank. Lindholm meant to do it that way, so he hits the corner. The puck comes right out and right to Pastrnak, who buries it. And the announcer was like, I think he said something along the lines of, I'm kind of surprised Samsonov didn't come out to play it. He couldn't. It was too far out. If he'd come out to try to play it and he misses it, instead, you have a wide open net and the puck's in. So Pastrnak scores in overtime from Lindholm and Carlo at 1:52. And again, Hampus Lindholm had himself a game, a goal and an assist. He had a great series. Boston wins this series 4-3. They win the game 2-1. Shots on net, 11-9 Boston in the first, 12-7 Toronto in the second, 10-8 Boston in the third. And in the overtime, the shots 3-2 for Boston. Boston with the shot that matters. Final shots, both teams had 31. Power plays 0 for 1 for Toronto, 0 for 2 for Boston. Hits 57-52 for the Bruins. Samsonov saves 29 out of 31. Swayman saves 30 out of 31. And then we didn't get the goalie hug. What's up with that? Like, come on. I understand the series is over and you're all excited, but I wanted the goalie hug. I even waited for it. And then they kind of hugged in the corner, but want the goalie hug. I explained to Yvonne tonight that if Ullmark leaves the team, then that means she has to give me the goalie hug anytime Boston wins next year. It just has to happen. Because if Ullmark leaves, then the goalie hug probably gone. Unless whoever replaces Ullmark, but it won't feel the same. Anyways, for Toronto fans, I know it's going to sound hollow. They played a great series. They did. I think of the 7-game losses Toronto's had, this is one where they could hold their heads high. They did score first. They did lose the game. There's that part of it. And I don't know how you fix this if you're Toronto, because again, one of the hardest things to do as a general manager is to have a team that's close to being a contender and figure out exactly what the ingredient is that's missing. And I know people are going to say defense. I will say this. Benoit had some really good opportunities that would have been better if they had an Erik Karlsson. Would have been better if they had a Roman Josi or a Quinn Hughes type. Morgan Rielly can do some of that, but we didn't see Rielly doing a lot of that in the series. They need a defenseman like that. They need a real point-producing defenseman. And again, they've had guys like that. Like Sean Durzi just comes to mind as a defenseman that they traded to LA. And I think having Durzi in this lineup, and while I understand Durzi defensively, a lot of issues, I don't know. Maybe they call St. Louis and say, hey, is Krug available? Krug was almost traded last summer. He could be a good addition for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I'm saying that because he can be very good on the power play and he can be good at generating offense. Yes, he can be a nightmare defensively, 5-on-5, but that's where you get somebody to cover for him, which Boston had and St. Louis has had a harder time finding. But I do wish that there was something more I could say for Leaf fans to reassure them tonight. I know it's going to be a rough one. This offseason, I have no idea what's going to happen. Although the last couple of off seasons, I've said, I think almost the same thing. And then in the off season, it's just kind of whoever leaves, they bring back replacements that they amp up like they're better, but it turns out not being the case. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe Max Domi's time as a Leaf won't be that long. I think they need to keep Domi. Bertuzzi, maybe he's not going to be a Leaf for that long. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you're a Bruins fan, do you believe at all that this team can beat Florida? I think they can. I think it's physically possible. I just don't know that they will. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you've not done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. And yeah, the next round should be interesting. And again, it starts tomorrow. The first game of the second round being on before the last game of the first round because sure, why not? Sure, we'll do NBA rules. Thank you guys so much for all your support, though. I will talk to you again soon.